Hello, I'm DragoNate, and I'm here to talk more about AI art in response to Muta at Some Ordinary Gamers again. As with the last one, I'm going to do basically a reaction video and respond to it. So, whatever response video, I guess.
I discovered this woman who I call Loab. She haunts every image she touches.
This is like a creepypasta thing or a little story that this person created using AI imagery art. They created a story along with it, and I think that's really interesting. I think it's really cool, and I think that is a great example of some good, cool art that could be made using AI text-to-image generation.
And what might be one of the AI's first, if you will, auto-generated creepypastas.
Doubt.
Some of them have even won entire competitions. And
You mean one did? One won an entire competition?
of course, there's a big debate as to if AI art is actually even real art.
It is.
Spooky little character that's sort of just emerged in the last few weeks just on AI art programs.
On one particular AI art program, yes.
Loab, as you can see the images over here, this character is persisting through a lot of negatively weighted prompts on AI.
No, it's not. And we'll get into that. Muta, classically not doing deep dive research on something that he doesn't know something about.
So to understand, let's start off with what exactly is going on. So to understand, if
You don't know.
you use any tool, like for instance Midjourney, for instance,
You mean Midjourney being the one that was used in this particular instance, for instance?
we introduce things known as the negative prompt weights. So the way that this works is, when you're typing in a prompt, you can do : -1. I believe actually the code is patched out. And once you provide a negative prompt, things truly are meant to provide you the polar opposite of what you're looking for. Now,
No, all that negative prompt is supposed to do is provide whatever is farthest from that prompt. It doesn't provide the opposite, it provides whatever's farthest from it. Tries to remove anything related to what you did put in.
Now, for instance, if they typed in Brando, : -1, they're trying to get the polar opposite of Marlon Brando, the actor. This prompt was inserted, 4 images were generated, and these images weren't exactly, the best if you could imagine. They all have
The very first one and the bottom left don't really look that much like the other two.
had
But
some disfigurement to them. They all had a similar looking woman, similar facial features, but of course one of them had this image, Loab.
What do you mean, of course?
Stable diffusion is actually a new state-of-the-art, and of course dog in a teacup,
What do you mean, of course?
but of course the general results can be pretty,
What, of course?
Now, Stable Diffusion is actually a new state-of-the-art form of text-to-image AI generation.
You just said all this.
Now, of course, it's in even these models that it seems as though that this Loab sticks through. And of course, you can
Is
identify
it?
it as the older.
Is it though? Where are you getting that from?
And of course, if this image doesn't keep you awake at night, well, you might have some problems.
Is that so? Of course.
Actually does transcend through numerous prompts. So again,
Does she? Are you sure?
the negative weight always leads to this one character showing up.
It does not always.
This, for instance, is like some mind freak.
That looks literally nothing like her. That looks literally nothing like the original. I don't know how this has any sort of Loabness or anything to it. It doesn't. Loab may have been used in the prompt, but that doesn't mean that this is the same character or related to her in any sort of way.
Freak form. So according to Super Composite, this is Technicolor.
It seems like this one has used the original output of Loab in the creation of this one. So we'll get into that as well. I'll go read through that thread. But this person, Super Composite, they took that original image of Loab and used it in creation of other images.
Of it. Now, if you take the word Loab and just throw that into any AI image generating tool, it's not going to give you Loab. For instance,
Well, no shit. I thought you were the one that just said that it's persisting across a bunch of different models.
Lab and just some street image, watery if you will.
No,
Throwing
of
in
course
right
it's not
cafe,
going
this,
to.
That's not Loab. There's no elements of that face anywhere at all in this.
Really?
And of course, in Crayon, which
I
was formerly
wonder
Dolly 2,
why.
there were some elements of crossbreeding image in Crayon, which was formerly Dolly 2.
No, Crayon was formerly Dolly Mini, not Dolly 2.
According to Super Composite, there were some elements of crossbreeding images of Loab with other images of Loab, and you can use
Crossbreeding images of Loab with other images of Loab.
No, this is not. If you would actually read what it freaking says up at the top there, it says produced with other images as inputs and no text. They are the result of crossbreeding images of Loab with images of other things. Muta, please try reading. Also, this image looks absolutely nothing like the original Loab at all. She doesn't even have the characteristic triangle cheeks with rosy whatever on it.
prompt, you can start to see Loab represented, even if it's not directly in the face, you can see
This has nothing to do with the power of negative prompts.
elements of that negative prompt replicated within other AI art forms. So clearly there's like
False.
this darker part of the artificial intelligence, or how it's perceived the data set and how it's actually perceived these
Nope, you're not paying attention to anything that's going on.
negative traits, and it all sort of bleeds into this one character, just constantly.
Nope, it does not. As the frickin' text that is staring you in the face, Muta, says, it is the result of crossbreeding images of Loab with images of other things. Produced with other images as inputs and no text. There is no other negative prompts here. There is no Loab persisting across other things.
Reference. That's where the persistence seems to be coming from, as far as I've been
No, the persistent.
able to understand and research into this. You can see even in images where Loab one character, that's where the persistence seems to be coming from, as far as I've been able to understand and research into this.
That's where the persistence seems to be coming from, as far as I've been able to understand and research into this.
You can see
How much research? Looking at an image and assuming that they're all from the same friggin' thing and same output? Fuck's sake.
Even in images where Loab shouldn't be seen, you can see that same person, alright, same triangular rough cheek.
Let's see. Loabness of the images she has a hand in making is undeniable. She haunts the images, persists through generations, and overpowers other bits of the prompt because the AI so easily optimizes toward her face. I don't know exactly what this one is meaning or referring to. It's probably part of a later thread further down that we will look at the Twitter thread.
Cheeks, and of course that same older character. This is the trait, the negative trait. This is what's
Except, again, like, this looks literally nothing like the original. Literally nothing like. Absolutely nothing like. Not in any way. The only way is that this is also a face. Hooray.
I'm just constantly seeing it through these images. There's definitely that element of a bias from somebody like me looking into it, but of course...
Yeah, a bias, and also the lack of actually understanding what the frick's going on.
That Loabness, I guess, whatever the verbiage is in this case, doesn't actually seem to persist through all of these negative...
I will be legitimately upset if the word Loabness ends up becoming a new fucking word in the dictionary.
Like, for instance, in different styles, you can see Loabness in between these two images as well, too. Whether it be this, like, older-looking, like, alien-type character, darker aspect of artificial intelligence is persisting and bleeding through, no matter what prompt you make, as long as it's weighted negatively.
False. You're not paying attention to anything going on. Stop it. Come on, Muta. For someone who does deep dives on things, you fail to do deep dives on something that is easy to do a deep dive on. Meaning, literally just read the fucking text. It's right there staring you in the face. How do you fail to do a deep dive on this, but you can do an amazing deep dive into all these virus investigations and stuff, and you know so much about what's going on in those situations? You literally do. And that's why I friggin' love watching you make those deep dives. I don't like watching you make this stuff, because this, you make no sense. You don't even read what is actually happening to this. Why these images are being created later on. And we'll get into why this image even was created this way to begin with. Where Loab came from to start with.
This is Loab in general.
What do you mean this is Loab in general?
The first internet cryptid, so to speak.
The first internet cryptid? Seriously, Muta? The first internet cryptid?
But of course, Loab has persisted and become this popular character in space, as a lot of the images seem to come across regarding women and children.
Yeah, we'll get into why this one happens, but basically this one is taking the original Loab character and mixing it with like the word angel and stuff like that.
No matter what you see, you'll always notice a Loab in these images too, and when you're introducing negative prompt weights, of course...
Yeah, because it's called confirmation bias. So of course you're going to notice Loab in every single one of these images. You've been told that Loab is in all of these images, so you're going to see Loab in all these images. You're expecting to see Loab in all these images.
You're going so far away from something, but again, when you go far away from that prompt that you're making, it eventually leads you to this one place where everything bleeds into this darker character. In some cases...
No, it doesn't. That's not how that happens.
And when you're introducing negative prompt weights, you're going so far away from something. When you go far away from that prompt that you're making, it eventually leads you to this one place where everything bleeds into this darker character.
But it doesn't. Sorry, I had to listen to that a second time because it's just like, what the fuck? What are you saying? So just it's not just because a negative weight is being used to create this character. In fact, I don't think it's even necessarily a negative weight at all that caused this to begin with. I really don't, and I will explain my reasoning.
And the real answer to it when we ask the question, why is this happening? Well, the reality is we really don't have an actual proper explanation as to why.
Actually, we do.
Why the artificial intelligence is looking and creating Loabs when given negative weight prompts. It really is.
That's also not true.
But of course, the explanation beyond how an artificial intelligence works in this case, well, it really depends on what's going on with the code, what's going on with it, how it's learning, what it's doing from the data set. Because when it's constantly given prompts, things are changing all the time. And how Loab exists and how it permeates is how the AI understands negative weights to be. What does it consider negative?
No, it doesn't.
Traits? What is the polar opposite of a lot of these prompts? And when we start to really dig deep, we end up getting Loabs thrown in every possible capacity.
We end up getting Loabs thrown in every possible capacity.
The polar opposite of Marlon Brando. False.
It seems like the ability to craft Loabs, if you will, these creepy characters that persist through all prompts, negatively weighted, seems to be something that the AI is picking up on, and it's becoming...
I'm pretty sure that's not how that works. You're making it sound like the AI is actually sentient, Muta. I'm pretty sure that's not how that works. I'm pretty sure these AIs, for text-to-image generation, do not take what has been created and what people choose or whatever, because, I mean, like, sure, you can give it a heart and you can give it all these whatever things with Midjourney, but I don't think that that actually gives the AI any feedback into saying, like, yes, this is what I want. If that were the case, Believe me, just look at the Internet Historian about serious business, okay? You'll see the same sort of deal. People would go fucking nuts over this, and it would end up becoming some horrible, stupid, disgusting meme and probably some sort of racist shit. This would end up becoming the pool is closed again.
It's interesting that with these negative prompts, the artificial intelligence is spitting out like full-on gore.
It's not, though. This person is intentionally creating these things to be as such.
I've never used Midjourney AI or any other tool to generate snuff pornography or generally any form of pornography. But to see that it's creating these like really decrepit images is something that I'm not going to say is concerning, because at the end of the day, it's just how these artificial intelligences work. But it's rather interesting.
It's not, because the images being generated are curated to do is exactly that.
So yeah, honestly, big ups to Supercomposite for even generating what is in fact the first artificial intelligence creepypasta out there. It's one of the coolest things that I've seen in the longest time. You know, a lot of us can say that AI isn't art, but in some cases, creating things like this isn't of its own way pretty artistic as well. But there's even an entire story.
Yeah, interesting. Cool. So I'm glad you at least agree this is a cool use and creation of artwork. There are so many people saying that the AI art is not real art and blah, blah, blah. That's not for this video. I'm arguing with people in the comments about it. Okay, so we're gonna go look through this thread here. This Muta already read this part. Okay, so this first one. This logo was a result of the negatively weighted prompt Brando : -1. I don't know how the whole : -1 thing works. What I originally thought before fully watching the video, but I got kind of stuck in the comments a little bit, reading what people were saying in the comments a little bit. And what I originally thought was that the -1 for some reason is attributed to horror or that sort of style or something. After actually looking at the Twitter thread, I completely changed my mind. Okay, so this logo was created from the negatively weighted prompt Brando : -1. Brando. Does the AI know what Brando means? Like, I mean, of course, if you give it Arnold Schwarzenegger, it's going to create something most likely similar to Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think I did do that with the Midjourney AI. Dolly Mini, or there was another one also. Stable Diffusion, I think. Also kind of got Arnold Schwarzenegger. Charlie, Moist Critical, tried going with James Corden, and it had a very tough time with that, and that was with the Stable Diffusion one. Charlie also typed in his own name, Charles White, and got a black guy, which, I don't know, may or may not be Charles White. I have no clue. I'm only aware of one Charles White, and that's Charlie, Moist Critical. Point is, these AIs are not necessarily that great at understanding words to begin with. They understand certain words, but if you give it words, or especially names usually, they're often not going to understand what those things are unless they've been trained on such. So I never heard of this Marlon Brando person before. This Brando thing, it's think of it. Brand with an O. What do brands have? Logos. So this logo was created because the AI didn't know what to do with Brando, and so it created brand. It created a brand. And who knows, this may not even necessarily be a logo, because it looks, I mean, I don't know. There's some other weird like text, if you look like closely at it, up here that you can kind of see. And another thing that these AI text-to-image generation things are notoriously bad at is words, putting words into the images. It is notoriously bad at letters in general, and very notoriously bad at creating coherent words. What does this say? Digita Pntix. Well, actually, this is backwards too, not even an S. So, I mean, like, that could be a logo for something. But, like, what the frick does this mean here? Digita isn't even a word, but at least that sort of kind of ish makes sense. You can see down here, this little tick is part of another letter that just seems to be cut off or something as well. Like, it hasn't gotten the words very well here. Now we look at this thing and what he created with it. So, and what he did here is he took what this said, Digita Pntix, right? Except that is a backwards 2, not an S, but whatever. He took Digita Pntix, Skyline logo. Now again, logo, : -1. Put this in as a prompt. This here is the important part, because if we look at this thing, the important part is Loab. What does this next part say? Well, that would be her last name if this is to be assumed to be her name, right? But he only talked about her first name here. Now this looks vaguely like it says Loab. Like, that kind of looks like an L because this little tick comes off of it. It could be an I or something as well. This is definitely an A. This is most likely a B, but it's also pretty similar to a G. What are these AI text image generation things notoriously bad at? Words. That LOAB, or what vaguely looks to be LOAB, could have been its attempt to say logo. This person is not named Loab. Supercomposite took that because it was in the image and said, well, this must be her character then. It's a character. It's a story that they created. That's it. This isn't the AI being deep or dark or creepypasta-ish or whatever. This person created a cool story. That's it. Let it be what it is. I will put the thread, the Twitter link to this thread in the comments below so you can look at these yourself, because there will be some things that I won't be able to show, just in case, maybe, well, I don't know. It shouldn't matter, to be honest. But just in case I can't show some things, and also because it is distorted on my side here. So the next thread, the next part of the thread is, my friend made this image of a hyper-compressed glass tunnel surrounded by angels in the style of Wes Anderson. I innocently combined this image with the original image of Loab in an image prompt without text. Let me read that again. Combined this image with the original image of Loab in an image prompt without text. For reasons we can't fully explain, nightmares ensued. Images being combined with one another. Potentially this one is combined with this combined with this. I don't really know why he didn't use this one instead of this one, but because that's where the name was. But anyway, whatever. We get some interesting things here, and emergent statistical accidents. Something about this woman is adjacent to extremely gory and macabre. Yes, because you took kind of a creepy image and combined it with another one that isn't necessarily creepy, and it made it creepy things. Of course, it's going to be kind of creepy. Since Loab was discovered using negative prompt weights, sort of, we already went over that. Her gestalt is made from a collection of traits that are equally far away from something. And there's the cue is there. Cue there as well about those negative weight prompts, equally far away from something. But our combined traits are still a cohesive concept for the AI, and almost all descendant images contain a recognizable Loab. Almost all, yeah, of the character above, yes. So the Angel Hallway plus Loab also produced art with such copious gore that probably very few people want to see them, but here are two. Yeah, basically, go see these yourself if you want to. There's something moving to me about these grotesque. We already saw this when Muta was going over it. They are the result of crossbreeding images of Loab with images of other things, using other images as inputs and no text. So there's the main thing. These are other images with no text being combined, crossbred with the images of Loab. That was actually not that disturbing, to be honest. The images that result from crossbreeding with other images can in turn be crossbred with other images. So now this is deeper level crossbreeding of the crossbreeding. Yes, she can be transposed into many things, of course, because that's what you can do with an image. Even when her red cheeks or other important features disappear, the Loabness of the images she has a hand in making is undeniable. I don't believe so. If I had never seen the original Loab thing, I would just assume that this is some carving of an elderly person, probably some wise shaman, or someone's mother or grandmother, maybe. This one looks very innocent and looks nothing to do with Loab, in my personal opinion. The only reason why I think of it is because of it being under this thread and being told. Then here it is with Avatar, Navi version. Yep, okay. But again, combining Loab with text prompts works great too. So this is combining the original Loab image with text prompts. No wonder the Loabness comes out. I can't possibly understand how this Loabness is coming out when Loab is literally being combined with a text prompt or other image prompts. It seems so strange to me, and it must be because the AI has this weird sort of Loabness to it that the negative weights create and no, it's because the original image is being used in the creation of others. Hundreds of Loab images were starting to combine her with 3 or 4 images at once, creating these horrible, creepy, disgusting things. See, crossbreeding images has already been a thing. It's already been a thing for at least quite a few years now. Just like Stylegan and stuff. Concept of Loabness became more abstract. Yeah, this is just getting like weird and creepy. Check back for a daily Loab sighting. She finds everyone sooner or later. You just have to know where to look. Fun. This is created by him, but using the days-old implementation of image prompts for stable diffusion. Again, what I'm going to take away from this image being created here, I really hate this, is that this was also the original Loab image used in the image prompts, implementation of image prompts for stable diffusion. If I go and I try and type anything like this in there for stable diffusion, I'm gonna get fuck all regarding this. I'm not going to get it. I already tried, actually. So now, pretty much all the rest of these images are just this person creating more and more. They're using this character that they created to create more interesting variations and characters of her, which I think is really cool and doesn't really matter for anything else regarding this going forward, for this particular video anyway. No, the main takeaway here, okay, is that Muta is not doing a deep dive into things and understanding things before he goes and talks about it. Cue up that other thing. So it seems almost misleading to people because he's taking what someone created as an art piece and he's trying to attribute too much more weirdness to it with the AI and the programming side of things itself. So I'm pretty sure Supercomposite used Midjourney for this, not Stable Diffusion, but we're gonna type in exactly what he put. Digital Pintix Skyline logo, : -1. And what do we get? Look at it. We get a freaking Skyline logo. And it's very awful. So I put Digital Pintix and it gets Gitix Pignix. It's not doing well with words. I put in something else earlier when I was testing this BS to see if I could get anything even similar to what was going on there, trying to use negatively weighted prompts and whatever. And obviously because I'm using Stable Diffusion, it's not Midjourney, so it's not going to work quite the same because they're two different AIs. So I typed in something like dark, horror, evil, some other junk along with it and whatever. And I ended up getting some other interesting images. So here's one of them, Dark Loab. Should I take this and call it a character too? And I'm amazed it actually got the word dark in there, but it clearly did not get the rest of it. We got this weird ass image too, which I actually kind of like. I got this character, very strange, very interesting. I kind of wish it didn't cut off the head up the top here. Another one that looks kind of the same. Oh no, look, oh my god. The dark horror is persisting throughout all the generations. Oh my good god, look, oh no, it cannot possibly be. It is another one of the same thing. It is persisting across. What does this mean for the AI? Now we have Darbin. We have a Loab. For fuck's sake. It can't even get the words right half the time. More than half the time. Dar irir, see? Dar irir. Fuck's sake. Da preb. This one in particular is my favorite. I love this one. This one looks to be the most interesting to me, in my opinion. And this character is now called Dak. Dak Hurere. And as you could see, he kind of persisted across some of the other ones as well. Like this one here. Even though it says a totally different thing at the top, we're just going to ignore, like, no, this person created something really cool with a piece of art that they made, and that's really it, okay? There's no ghost in the machine. There's no bias, like I originally thought, towards this whole negative prompt thing. The negative prompt doesn't work the way Muta thinks it does, in that it's supposed to do the polar opposite. All it's supposed to do is do something that is far away from what you give it to that negative prompt. And even that, it doesn't seem to be doing that at all, because it clearly tried to put brand or create a brand or something in there. At least that's what it seems like to me. And it clearly, to me, again, tried to put the word logo in there and came out with Loab instead. These AI art generations are not dark by nature and have some sort of horrible, creepypasta thing in it that's happening in real time or anything else that Muta said in there. It's just an interesting thing and a story that is cool that someone else created. Stop trying to attribute anything else to it. It's just a fun thing that they made using AI to create a cool piece of art. Just like other people creating creepypastas and such. It's the same thing there. No different. So anyway, that's about it. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Leave your thoughts on this in the comments below. And I'll see you again soon. Bye, God bless, keep calm, drag on.